Action, Lawrence Cole. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white, green, and red, and weighing in exactly at 125 pounds. His professional record, 14 victories without a loss, 7 by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger de Juarez, Mexico, Juan Carlos El Ranchero Ramirez. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white, trimmed with gold, and weighing 125.5 pounds. His professional record, 42 victories, 22 by knockout, with 7 defeats in his career. He comes to us from Manila, Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the WBC Featherweight Champion of the World, Luisito Espinosa.
I'm just going to have him touch him up. Come on, Luisito. Come on, let's just touch him up. Let's touch him up. Good luck.
As Lawrence Cole gives them the very quick instructions, we'll take a look at the WBC rules. 10-point must. There is not going to be a 3 knockdown rule in this fight. No standing 8 count. A fighter can't be saved by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight. And if we have to go to the headbutt rule, it will be after the start of the 5th round. So a little bit different in the rules there. We await the start of this fight between Luisito Espinosa and Juan Carlos Ranchero Ramirez. Espinosa in his second stint as a world champion. He seemed to sag a little in the middle of his career, suffered a couple of knockout defeats, and then suddenly put it together. He discovered religion, he said, which really meant a lot to him in putting his whole life together, and he came back and won the championship again.
Yeah, they thought his career was over after they lost Alejandro Gonzalez back in August of 1993. He stopped in 2.
First fight for Espinosa here in the United States, and that's his wife, Sherry, who is in attendance here at the bout tonight. Very lovely young lady who was quite affable and helps translate for Luisito with the English media.
She said she was going to be nervous in this fight tonight. She said it's scary to watch your husband fight. They have a boy, Juan, back in the Philippines. Very popular in the Philippines is Luisito Espinosa. He's an actor, does action comedy. Back in his home country, he's a hero there. He says in the ring, my style, I'm adaptable, I'm a boxer puncher. He tries to emulate great fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns. Says naturally right-handed is Espinosa. For Ramirez, he says in the ring, I'm a turkey boxer. He says my best punch is the right uppercut. Ramirez got into boxing at 12. He was a scrappy kid and fighting in the streets. He went to the gym and started boxing. He went 82-5 as an amateur. Fought in the Mexican national team. Boxed all over the world. And there is a glancing blow. The right hand sharp shot with that right from Ramirez.
And that's all it will take. Will be a glancing blow to get this crowd involved in this fight. Ranchero Ramirez has posted a couple, even though he's had only 14 fights, has posted a couple of very impressive victories. Greg Richardson, the former WBC bantamweight champion. He also beat Jesse Magana, who challenged Marco Antonio Barrera for the world title, and at one point was ranked #1 in the world. So he may be inexperienced in terms of number of fights, but he's fought good opposition so far.
And he tries. He will try. He's a nice, amiable kid. And he has got this crowd behind him.
And Ranchero, they're chanting.
You know what? Any fighter hears that, and he would love to have the approbation of the crowd. I mean, you fight for that. That is a great feeling for any fighter to have. And if it's happening to your opponent, you try to rally on him to keep the crowd quiet.
Espinosa very tentative here as round 1 comes to a close. He hardly did anything in this first round.
Trying to figure him out.
the end of round 1, and that's Larry Goosen, who may use hand signals and some type of communication to communicate with Luisito.
Okay, Louis, one more movement, okay? Let's get that jab going, hard. Don't get lazy with the jab, okay?
Good instructions. You don't know what to do, you got to jab.
This guy doesn't want to fight you.
Larry Goosen,
Okay, he wants to stay out, take his time.
he says that the language barrier is not a factor. Espinosa knows what he wants.
All right, feel good? Okay, go to the body, keep it short. Left hand, jab, 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 boom, boom, okay? Short. Then the right hand, okay? Nice deep breath.
Larry getting a good workout over there.
Well, because of the language difficulties, of course, he has to kind of act out all of his instructions. This is round 2, scheduled for 12, WBC Featherweight Championship on the line. Well, we had 3 punches landed in the first round. That's not too impressive. Almost nothing happened in round number 1. And Mills, what else could you score it but 10-10, I guess? Ramirez just keeps shuffling after Espinosa, but not doing anything. Larry Goosen said that Espinosa's been tight. He's been trying to kind of get him to relax in the ring a little bit more. And he thought that if Ranchero Ramirez really put the pressure on him, that Espinosa might try to really mix it up here with him.
Well, Espinosa knew what to expect in Ramirez. He saw him against Augustin Lorenzo. Said he's a good fighter. He goes for it. He measures his opponent. He's wild, and sometimes he sticks his head up. He hasn't stuck his head up yet for Espinosa. Ramirez said, I've seen Espinosa against Cesar Soto, who was the #1 contender. So he's a mover, a counterpuncher. He draws you in. So that's why Ramirez is staying out a little bit.
And suddenly the war is on.
Espinosa going wide. Quick right hand would score well from Ramirez.
It's kind of an unusual punch that Espinosa throws out there, Sean, when he comes with that left hand. It looks like it's going to be a jab, and then it kind of turns into a wide punch.
Kind of a jumping jab, hook, punch. Best way to beat a hook is a straight right hand. It's got to be fast, and it's got to be hard.
Well, Ramirez is going to have to start letting his hands go.
Nice foot feint from Ramirez. The old adage in boxing is a challenger must go out there and take the title from the champ.
I really don't know if Ramirez is tight or what, but he's just not letting his hands go at all. He's almost like frozen. Now he rushes at Espinosa. When he does that, Espinosa's going to unload himself. Espinosa is hopeful, as is every 126-pounder, of getting a big money payday with Prince Nassim Hamid in a title unification bout.
And he's got to get in line because I think everybody's wanting to fight the Prince.
Good body punch by Espinosa. Now he falls to the canvas. No knockdown. End of round 2. Time! Things picked up a little bit in that second round. Ranchero Ramirez sits in his corner.
He's throwing those wide punches. The way we show you in the gym with the bag gloves, that's what you stay in close to him. How do you feel now? Are you okay? Don't lower your left hand now. And go inside because he's looping those punches. When he comes in with those looping punches, hit him with the left.
Good instructions. They told him what they want him to do. Tighten up.
All right, we move now into round number 3. It's scheduled for 12. This is for the 126-pound championship of the World Boxing Council. Through 2 rounds, Espinosa has thrown about 5 times as many punches, but neither of them, again, are landing. Only 8 punches each. Mills Lane gave round number 2 to Espinosa by a 10-9 margin and has him up now by a point through the first 2 rounds.
Don't even have to take your shoes off to count that punch, Lance.
I think the fight will pick up here in
yeah. Well, you know what?
and it's excitement.
Pro boxing doesn't begin until after the 3rd round, but they will pick it up a little bit here in this round. It is scheduled for 12.
Espinosa rushed forward. There's a clash of heads. A headbutt there. Espinosa threw a left hook to the body, and at the same time they clashed heads.
That's the danger you have of throwing such a wide hook. Remember, we talked about that jumping jab hook that Espinosa throws. You become vulnerable to headbutts or a straight right hand. Oh, good combination from Ramirez again.
And that wakes Espinosa up, and then Ramirez tries to finish off and end the flurry with his own left hook. Now Ramirez beginning to rush forward, and now the brawl is on. Ramirez coming forward, lands with a left hook, and he backs Espinosa into the corner. And Ramirez suddenly has come alive.
As has this crowd. They wanted Ramirez to throw combinations and keep your punches on the inside.
Espinosa still kind of looks to me like he's probing, trying to figure out a way to hurt the Ranchero Ramirez here. He looks like he's still studying his challenger.
Yes, he is. He's taking a good look at him, trying to figure out how to break through that defense. Look at the hands of Ramirez. Ranchero did a nice job keeping the hands up around his face. There was a punch that snuck through. As a champion, Espinosa doesn't want to waste any shots.
Espinosa jabbing very little.
I tell you, you get that jab working, everything else seems to fall in place. How important that jab is. You know what, even for Ramirez to use that jab, you control your opponent, you control the fight, you steer him where you want him, then you land with the heavy shot, the right hand.
Espinosa going forward a lot of times with very wide punches. You saw that last one, a wide right hand to the body. He's not following a jab in. Ramirez trying to move forward, but again he's been punching only in infrequent flurries. When they begin to flurry, they both stand there and exchange, and the action picks up dramatically. Then they go back to long distance and kind of pose and wait for the other's move. Let's go upstairs and see what Barry Tompkins and Mill Lane have to say.
All right, thanks very much, Rich. Well, it's interesting. The featherweight division, of course, tops out at 126 pounds, so the fighters have to weigh in at 126 or less. The weigh-in, Mills, was yesterday. What a difference between yesterday and today.
That's right. 125 to 130 is not out of line, although it's a little spread, but 125 and a half to 134 is too much of a spread. In the old days, you had to make weight the day of the fight. You have to make the weight at noon if you fight at 8 o'clock. That's safer, it's better. You have to come in where you come in. If you wait at noon, you can't gain more than 4 or 5 pounds with 2 meals, some liquids. I think letting them weigh the day before is unfair to the fighter. It's that weight, number one, and I believe it could be dangerous. I think you fill these kids full of water, it's no good.
You know, an observation, too, before we get you back ringside. Simple fact is, both these guys looked to me like they were going to counter, waiting to counter, and Rich, neither man was the aggressor. So they both sat back and waited for the first couple rounds.
And then when somebody finally throws, Barry, then they both just kind of explode with punches as we move into round number 4 through the first 3 rounds. And now they're beginning to land a few more punches. As you can see, Espinosa has thrown over 3 times as many punches, but his punch landing percentage is way down, missing a lot of punches. Ramirez rushes him now into the ropes, and a good right hand. That hurt Ramirez. Good right hand by Espinosa. Ramirez in a little bit of trouble.
He ran into the right hand, moving in. He caught that right hand from Espinosa. Espinosa's got power in that right.
And now Ramirez trying to answer back, but he's in trouble. Those legs are a little shaky right now. And Espinosa throws the challenger to the canvas. No knockdown, but nonetheless, those legs are weak under Ramirez right now.
And he could buy himself a few seconds there to recuperate. You got to take deep breaths. You have to learn how to survive in those rounds where you're almost out.
Ranchero Ramirez said, if he knocks me down, I'm going to get up. If he knocks me down again, I'll get up again. And he's been close to going down here in round number 4 as Espinosa has found the target.
Stop!
No pulling behind the head, says Lawrence Cole. Blood from the nose now from Ramirez.
Good right hand by Ramirez. That caught Espinosa and backed him into the corner. Nice left hook by Espinosa now. The action is fierce here in round number 4.
Yeah, they pick it up. Remember what I said, pro fight doesn't start until after 3. In this 4th round, they are heating it up. Ramirez almost out on his feet, but at 21 years old, good recuperative powers. He is young. And he comes back. Oh, he's a tough kid.
A nice right uppercut in close, and now a headlock applied by Espinosa. Yeah, they were touching gloves and hugging each other and smiling a lot in the first couple of rounds.
None of that now.
No.
A lot of frowns.
Good right hand by Ramirez, and then Espinosa snuck one in.
Sneaky left hook by Espinosa. That left hook comes at you from a different angle. That jumping jab hook that I've talked about, it wraps around your defense. You don't see it when it comes and hits you.
Smear of blood on the right side of the face of Ranchero Ramirez. They're right above us now, and Espinosa slides off the ropes.
Oh, he's smooth. Look at these moves from Espinosa.
Trying to lure his young challenger into a mistake. Look at him go into the corner. That's exactly what he wanted to have happen. He wanted Ramirez to throw a wild right hand like that and make him miss.
And a little smile from Espinosa. He is so skillful in the ring. 3.5 times more fights than Ramirez, trying to take the young kid out to the deep blue sea and teach him a thing or two.
Well, Espinosa showed a lot of skill in this round. Ramirez showed a lot of guts in this round. Round 4 comes to an end.
Well, it was a good round for Luisito Espinosa. Watch out, Ramirez running in. Espinosa backs him to the ropes and then clobbers him with the right hand. A wobble from Ramirez, and here is what happened to his wife, Sherry. When that happened, yes, I like that. Take your time. They're trying to settle him down. Later in the round, they had him settled down. And Ramirez, again, putting the pressure on. And again, that sweeping left hook. What an unusual punch that is. A lot of power outside on that left hook. There's the 6-year-old son.
Sherry, the wife, is up on the ring apron now. She's leaning in between the ropes, and I think translating for trainer Larry Gusa.
Got a good look at John there.
Here we are now, round number 5, 4th round by far, the best of the fight. These two guys really began to go at it. The featherweight champion of the world in the WBC, Luisito Espinosa, in the white trunks, Ranchero Ramirez in the colors of Mexico trunks. And Ranchero was staggered badly in the round, but came on himself. There you see Espinosa getting a 10-9 advantage over Ramirez in round 4 to earn a 39-38 advantage on Mills Lane scorecard. Who do you think, Sean, has the edge if it evolves into a slugfest?
No doubt that Espinosa has the edge. He's the more experienced of the two. What Ramirez wants to do is make this a street fight. He wants to make it a brawl. You know, he has to show the champion that he wants his title, show the judges, prove to the judges that he wants to be the featherweight champion of the world. And to do that, you can't go out there and let the champion pick you apart.
Cute little right uppercut by Espinosa inside.
Oh, Espinosa's sharp. Very few punches are wasted from Luisito Espinosa. There's a nice jab.
He feints with his hands, with his shoulders, little head movement here and there.
Foot feint is one of the best things he has. And you can see, you can always tell on your opponent how hard you're hitting. If your opponent's face is, showing the signs, swelling or a cut or a swelled up nose. And you see that you can look at the ears of Ramirez where he's been catching that left hook on the outside from Espinosa. His ear is red. for good reason.
Ramirez now using the jab only as a rangefinder, not really throwing it out there with the intentions of trying to snap Espinosa's head back. See how he just pokes it out there?
Yeah, you know the nice thing about doing that is you give your opponent something to look at. Just put something in front of his eyes, block his vision, and then you bring in the right hand. But he has to punch in combinations. Ramirez cannot land the one shot against a skilled veteran like Espinosa.
Good triple left hook to the body by Espinosa. Ranchero Ramirez claimed low blows. They were not. They were good punches to the side of the body.
Sharp shots. Espinosa. Ramirez fading just a little bit this round. Not quite the experienced veteran that Ramirez is.
Ranchero Ramirez still, however, with an indomitable will to win.
Oh, yeah.
Moving forward.
Oh, it has been his dream to be the champion of the world. He would love to carry out that title belt tonight.
And a little dance by Espinosa at the end of the round. As he goes back into his corner. There you see his wife, Sherry, because Larry Goosen wants her to translate.
No more. Body. And use your jab like you did the jab. You're gonna knock this guy out. You do what I tell you. Right here.
There you see the wife, Sherry, on the outside helping Larry Goosen. Those hand signals, I guess, from Goosen to Espinosa not working. Sherry, we had the little son Louis here as well tonight. Sherry's an active participant in that corner. Most unusual. Round 6 of a growingly good and growingly interesting fight between the champion, Luisito Espinosa, in the white trunks, Juan Carlos Ranchero Ramirez. Across the way from him as we take a look at the round 5 punches through 5 rounds. A warning from Lawrence Cole to keep him up.
No doubt about that. You know what? Espinosa finding out what he can get away with. He knew where his punches were.
Good right hand lead by Espinosa. Neither man has truly established a jab in this fight, so they're trying to utilize different type punches to get things going. How can Ranchero Ramirez best get to Espinosa then, Sean, since he's not using a jab?
He's trying for the knockout. If he would settle down, just get into the rhythm of the fight, use the jab, he has to beat Luisito off of him. Every time that Luisito comes in and scores, Ramirez tries to get it back. What you got to do with fighters like this is take the power off and use the speed for a couple of rounds. Then you slow your opponents down. Then you can learn to use the power. Plus, you go to the body. Against a skilled veteran like Espinosa, he moves too well in the head. Look at that leg movement from him. You got to take that away, downstairs to the body.
Nice left hook in close by Ranchero Ramirez. Takes another one to the body. Nice job by Ramirez in tight.
Oh, Ramirez is tough. He is a tough kid. He's got some good weapons. Nice right hand and a nice hook, but he would be well served with a jab. And every time they get into some kind of confrontation, look how Espinosa breaks out. He walks around behind Ramirez. So you move to your right. If you're a right-hander facing a right-hander, you walk behind your opponent. He has to reset his back foot to punch hard with his right hand.
Those punches blocked by Espinosa.
Get blocked, and that takes away the power from your opponent. There's a good uppercut. Best shot Ramirez has landed in several rounds.
Ranchero Ramirez carrying the hopes of not only himself, but his family, his neighbors, growing up in the extraordinary poverty that Barry Tompkins told you about earlier. Nice uppercutting close by Espinosa as Ranchero Ramirez was rushing him. But this kid, no one in his family, he said, had any money. He lived in a cave on the hill, trying to win a championship to make things a little different. Fight getting very interesting now between these two. The fans are into it. I know Barry Tompkins and Mills Lane are upstairs too, guys.
Yeah, we really are. I think it's a terrific fight. It's exactly as advertised. Mills, the difference in the fight to me comes down to a word that keeps rolling around in my head, and that is savvy, and Luisito Espinosa has it.
You know, he does have great savvy. He's a complete fighter. The other kid, though, is making it very competitive. I've got Espinosa a little bit ahead, but the other kid is a gutty kid, and you never know down the road.
He really is. The guys down there talked about is looking for a knockout. That may be true, and he almost got one. He just missed with that punch.
Just missed him on the chin.
But he's a terrific competitor, and he is pressing ahead. Doesn't seem to be hurt. Both guys seem to be in absolutely terrific condition.
Oh, yeah, they're ready for this fight. It's good to see kids get like this. It's going to be a competitive fight, made close to hell at the end, too.
It doesn't always happen that fights come out exactly the way they were supposed to, but this one so far is really living up to all the pre-fight billing.
All right, we go now to round 7. We're halfway through this scheduled 12-rounder for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. Luisito Espinosa, the champion, according to Mills Lane, has a slight lead on points. As you take a look at the punch stats of the fight so far, they both landed about the same amount of punches, but Espinosa has thrown more than twice as many as Ranchero Ramirez, who really didn't seem to get into it until about the 3rd round.
Yeah, it was a slow start to this fight. The first two, neither one really did anything. In that 3rd round, they picked it up a little bit, but then in the 4th round, Espinosa showed Ramirez what he has. And with a real straight, hard right hand that hurt Ramirez. And since then, he's been able to pick his shots, just pick and peck, walk around Ramirez, not getting any big confrontations. And Ramirez has been punching in single, hard shots, whereas Espinosa has been working the combinations.
Seeing a little bit more of a jab from Espinosa here in round number 7 than we've seen so far. Finished off with a left hook to the body that time, and again the jab and then the left hook to the body.
And an unusual left hook. Good right hand
by Ramirez. That stunned Espinosa a little bit, and look at Espinosa immediately went onto a bicycle. He felt that one. But the punches are at least so far here coming one at a time for Ramirez, while Espinosa's been landing more. Espinosa, nice clever left hook inside. Then he spins the young challenger around and then rushes at Ranchero Ramirez. Very concerned wife, Sherry. She still has enough presence of mind to yell out her own instruction to her champion.
Oh, when your wife tells you what to do, by gosh, you better go out there and do it.
Right.
You know? Wife's your trainer. You better get out there and take a whacking from my trainer that's also my wife.
Espinosa's dad was quite a fighter himself. His dad, Dio, was a professional back in the 60s.
Yeah, flyweight back in the 60s. He had about 70 fights and lost only 2 of them. Espinosa followed Dio into the gym. He was a young man, returned pro at the age of 16, learned on the job, and he has certainly done a fine job learning.
His dad fought the famed Fighting Harada for the World Championship. And there's the man we were talking about. There's Dio right there.
Dad Dio very proud of his son, and he is in his son's corner, giving him plenty of instructions. He'll hear it between rounds.
Through 7 rounds, a long walk back to the corner for Luisito Espinosa. Very good in front of him.
Right hand to the body works. Give me the grease. Where you got the grease.
I'll get it.
Nice, keep running. What's the matter? You all right?
You need
to use more intelligence. You're not doing what you have to do. The last minute, you confuse him, but then you haven't gone to the body like you're supposed to. You got to throw those hooks to the body.
Round 8 scheduled for 12. WBC 126-pound title on the line. Luisito Espinosa, the champion, screen left. And that's the challenger, Ranchero Ramirez, who got quite a chewing out in the corner between rounds. As we take a look at how the punches have been distributed, Espinosa, very good balance. And Ramirez, that's a surprisingly low number of punches to the body that he has landed. I would have thought he would have thrown more than that.
And that's why they are so upset in his corner. I tell you, they are in the corner. They are upset with him because he's not throwing enough punches in the corner.
There's Mills Lane's scorecard, a 10-9 round for Espinosa in the last round to give him a 68-66 lead, but still very much in doubt this fight.
Well, still plenty of time. Oh, another good left hook and a little wobble from Ramirez. You know what? You're taking such a burning out there, a heated battle for Ramirez. I don't like to see you go back to the corner and thrown on the griddle by your trainer, Felipe de la Torre, telling Ramirez, you got to go more to the body, you got to stay downstairs, you're not doing what we talked about, you're not doing what I asked you. This kid is in a world championship fight. He's only 21 years old. He's hanging in there with one of the great fighters in Espinosa.
And he got caught coming in again by the Espinosa punch. That was a beauty by Luisito. Luisito does not look like an old fighter in there tonight.
No,
at the age of 31. He's been a world champion a long time.
You know, he changed his style after those 2 losses. He started maneuvering more and going to a better strategic position to try to score on his adversary, and you see him doing that here in this fight. A little upset at the antics of Lawrence Cole, who's asking for a break.
He has fought Luisito Espinosa on a couple of occasions at what is known in the Philippines as Luneta Park. And they charge for seats around ringside, and then they have it free around the outside where they have big, large screens because you really can't see the action in the ring. They've been drawing over 300,000 fans. Just try to imagine that, Sean, for a boxing match.
Wow. 300,000 fans. They let him in for free, but they charge him to get out. It's an incredible place. It's amazing. That's how they make money.
I think Espinosa now growing in confidence. I think he feels he's got the youngster solved.
Yeah, it took him rounds to figure him out. Just tie him up on the inside. Referee will break you. And then you go back, you set that jab from the outside. See him completely turn Ramirez around. See him every time he gets in to punch, hands up around his face. This is ring generalship. Very ring-wise.
When you ask him why he came to the United States after fighting all those fights over in the Philippines and Japan, he says, I want to work so I can be known everywhere as world champ. Time! Eighth round in the books, Espinosa. Good. Okay.
Wala nang hindi natatama sa yan. Kung kita mo na, bitawan mo na, pag na-corner ka, balikan mo na. Saan, balikan mo na. Kaya na, kukuha na laro na.
You know, he's really figured out Juan Carlos Ramirez in this fight, and one of the ways he is doing that is Ranchero keeps his gloves up nice and tight around his head. You go right down the middle. Watch this, right down the middle of those gloves. Nice work from Luisito Espinosa. You know, it's taken him some rounds, but the good fighters can adapt round by round. The top 10 fighters can adapt minute by minute, but the great fighters can adapt second by second, and that's what Luisito Espinosa is doing in this fight.
We move now into round 9 of this 126-pound championship bout for the World Boxing Council. Luisito Espinosa, the champion, with his back to you, has thrown not twice as many punches as has the challenger. He's landed more, although still he does not have a high percentage rate of landing. Espinosa winning the last round on the card of Mills Lane has a 78-75 lead, so he's beginning to pull away according to Mills Lane's card from the challenger Ranchero Ramirez, who has yet to taste a defeat as a professional, 14-0. But he's never seen the kind of things he's seeing from Luisito Espinosa here tonight. Look at the angles Luisito throws some of these punches at. Very unusual.
Very unusual. And the positioning. Luisito moves on the side and then scores. There's that left hook again from Espinosa. Oh, and a right hand that stunned Ramirez. See Ramirez back on his heels? Ramirez is running to that right hand like he did back in that 5th round.
And Ramirez trying to pick it up here. He's rushing Espinosa. Espinosa will have to be cautious, but he's catching the kid coming in.
Yeah, that's just what Espinosa wants to do. When you have your opponent advancing like that, you use his power and his advancement to knock him out. Adds a little bit more force to the power of your punch.
When Ramirez puts his head down, Espinosa, and rushes in, Espinosa just likes to clock him a quick left hook on the way in.
Nice uppercut would work well, too, from Luisito.
Ramirez trying to trap Luisito up against the ropes and in the corner, and does land a long right hand lead to the body from long range.
And every time he gets inside, Luisito just grabs him. Hold on. Let the referee break you.
Nice right hand to the body by Espinosa, and then the right over the top, not as effective. There's a right hand by Ramirez. Ooh, and Espinosa doesn't mind brawling.
But he remembers to walk around. Get the angle on your opponent.
And I think Luisito is a very interesting fighter because he's got many skills. He's got some strange techniques, unusual techniques. And yet, if you want to get him in a slugfest, okay, I'll stand there and trade with you.
But this is a pretty good round for Ramirez.
Great hand there by Espinosa.
Takes a shot from Espinosa there. Ramirez has landed some good shots in this round, but it's been the skill of Espinosa. See him walking around. This uses no energy. I love this movement from Espinosa. You're not bouncing around like an amateur fighter. You're not running around your opponent. It's not, running out of fear. You are maneuvering to a better strategic position.
Better round for Ramirez as he chases Espinosa. Fans sensing something here. They think that Ramirez might be doing something, trying to encourage him. How will the judges score this round?
Break! Break! Break!
Better round for Ranchero Ramirez. The fans were getting into it, trying to encourage him.
No quiere pelear, Ranger. Ranger, cuando se vaya para allá, dale diagonal. Ya lo traes todo cortado, Ranger. Ese es el ataque, Ranger. Ranger, cerradito el ataque a la derecha. Cabeceale rápido, Ranger. Rápido, cabecea, cabecea. Sí, cabecea rápido, Ranger.
Okay. You gotta pressure him. This 10th round coming up. You can beat him. He can't go anymore.
We move into round number 11. A most interesting fight. The crowd was really trying to spur on Ranchero Ramirez, the champion, in that last round. Ramirez doing a better job now of getting some punches home to the body. He had hardly landed any in the early rounds. We told you round 11. It is actually round 10 here. I apologize for that. Espinosa got the last round on the card of Mills Lane to take a 4-point lead here at 88-84.
There's more aggression in that last round from Ramirez, but it was Espinosa wisely moving out of those confrontations, moving to the side and then scoring well. Ramirez has some good punches. He is using them well, but not using them enough.
Espinosa has fought a distinguished list of opponents down through his career. Manuel Medina, Carlos Rios, Alejandro Cobrita Gonzalez, world champions. He is a most experienced and a very sly champion. But, we're seeing a lot of willpower here from Ranchero Ramirez, who comes in and misses those punches, trying to rush Espinosa. And try not to let Espinosa get set in this round. But as you can see, still unsuccessful at getting punches home.
But he is trying to throw combinations. Little wobble from Espinosa sends this crowd into a fury.
Espinosa's enjoying the combat. Right hand by Ramirez. May have been his best punch. Espinosa may be shaken.
Oh, and a good left hook.
Espinosa opens his mouth wide open when he gets into an exchange, as he did there.
Look at Espinosa moving around. Good uppercut. Ramirez on the attack. Espinosa defensive now. He has tasted the power of Ramirez. He is hurt. Step back. Lawrence Cole breaks the two. Ramirez has to jump right on him. This is a window of opportunity for Juan Carlos Ramirez.
And he charges at Espinosa, who I believe was shaken earlier in this round and is now having trouble getting away from some of the punches. Espinosa is telling the referee, Lawrence Cole, that he was headbutted. But Cole just stares at him, and the action continues.
And here's how a hometown crowd can help you in a fight. They cheer like this, and sometimes, even if you're not hurt, you feel hurt by the screaming. Watch the head. One time. Give you a warning. Crowd doesn't like it. Ramirez has to hit him. Espinosa still may be hurt.
Crowd into this fight as Espinosa over in his corner. He'll try to stay right there till the bell sounds to end the round. He takes a right hand to the body by Ramirez and is warned by referee Lawrence Cole for throwing what he felt was a punch behind. The crowd does not like that.
Here is the big right hand. Watch how Ramirez moving in. This is a great shot from him. Connected on Espinosa. The crowd went wild. Espinosa on the retreat, and it was Ramirez landing again with the right hand. He had Espinosa backing up. Ramirez coming off his best round.
It was the first time he really showed that he could shake up Luisito Espinosa.
And he does it late. You know, that's something you don't expect from young fighters on their way up.
Now we move into round 11. Crowd roaring as the two come out of their corner. Espinosa will try to regain some control of the things here in this round, as Ramirez outpunched him in that last round and now has nearly as many punches landed as the champion. Ramirez winning the last round on the card of Mills Lane is pulled to within 3 points on Mills' scorecard.
Absolutely great round for Ramirez. Came up, he had the crowd into it, the crowd behind him, and he was putting the pressure on.
I tell you, this is
Espinosa wobbled.
Just a classic, Sean, youth versus experience matchup here. All the youthful enthusiasm and energy of Ranchero Ramirez and all the wiles and guile of the champion Luisito Espinosa, who is fighting a challenger who's trying to overwhelm him now in the corner. And Ranchero Ramirez is having some success. A great right hand by Ramirez.
Stop! Step back!
And Wife Sherry is concerned. She is worried.
Now they're throwing debris into the ring. They're throwing gear into the ring. And Lawrence Cole has been warning. Up, here it comes. Lawrence Cole is going to stop the fight momentarily. While the fans who are angry because Cole has been repeatedly warning Ranchero Ramirez in the last 2 rounds for infractions.
But that's what Ramirez wants to do. He wants to make this a brawl, make this a fight.
I believe this stop in action aids Espinosa because I think he was getting himself into a little bit of trouble.
It certainly did. Espinosa was hurt, and it gave him time to recuperate.
There was no point taken away. There was just, again, a warning. Just a warning, no point.
Oh, big left hook, and an important left hook for Ramirez. Ramirez hurt Espinosa there. Oh,
here's a champion with many title defenses behind him, and now
again, more time.
By Lawrence Cole after an accidental headbutt. He's going to take him over to the position, ringside position. It must be bloody. Lawrence Cole tells us accidental headbutt. Remember, if a fight has to be stopped, we are past the 5th round now. Plenty of blood there. And so we would go to the scorecards.
And it is ugly. Look at that. No doubt that's a headbutt. A cut of that nature is not a split. It's not a slice. It is a round cut. Just took a portion of the eyelid out. Here it is. Boom, right there. You know, not all the fault of Ramirez. That's why Lawrence Cole.
It is accidental. It is spurting blood, Sean.
There's no way they can continue this fight. This fight has to be stopped. It's going to the cards. There is Lawrence Cole. Yeah. Good call.
There he's telling the judges right now, accidental headbutt, score the round. They will go to the scorecards. The fight is over. It has been stopped here in the 11th round. The fight has been stopped in the 11th round due to the accidental headbutt and the cut suffered by Luisito Espinosa.
Boy, now you got to worry about the scorecards. You have to worry if you have won enough rounds in this fight to pick up a victory. His title on the line, Luisito Espinosa. Did Ramirez come back to take this championship away?
One thing that is interesting about the scoring here is the fact that under WBC rules, when a fight is stopped after there's been a cut, if there's been a headbutt earlier in the fight and they stop it, then they deduct 1 point from the man who has not been cut. However, in this case, a quirk in the rule, when the fight is stopped immediately, then they do not deduct the point. All right, let's get a little bit more on this from Mills Lane upstairs.
All right, thanks very much. Well, Mills, you've been in this situation 1,000. I thought Lawrence Cole did an excellent job. I don't believe there is a point taken away, is there?
There was no question it was the butt. It was unintentional butt. I doubt he took the point. But he had to acknowledge that it was the butt, because now, with that many rounds, you go to the scorecards. And if he's ahead, he's going to win the fight.
Simple fact is, I have an idea that this might have cost Ramirez the fight. He was starting to get to Espinosa. He had hurt Espinosa both in this round and the last round. And the question remains now, did Espinosa build up enough of a lead early?
Well, I think he was ahead early, no question. Oh, I think he was ahead. I think Espinosa was ahead early, but he was fading, and the other kid was coming on good. But the real question now is where we are with the scorecard. I think you're right, Barry. That cut and the fight being into there and going to the scorecards, I think Espinosa's ahead.
Yeah, I think so too, and it's very unfortunate. It was a wonderful fight between a wily veteran and a hungry fighter. That's what we talked about at the beginning of this fight. It's exactly what it has been. It's going to be unpopular, I believe, if Espinosa wins, but it might also be just. Let's go to Michael Buffer and find out. Some confusion right now, and the confusion is they're talking about getting Espinosa out of the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please,
because could be ugly. Here's Michael.
Of an unintentional clash of heads, physicians and referee at ringside had to call a halt to the bout because of injury. Under the rules of the state of Texas and the World Boxing Council, we add up the scorecards up to and including round 11. We have the scores for 11 rounds at this point, which will decide the battle. David Harris scores the bout 106 to 104 for Ramirez. Gary Ritter scores the bout 105 to 104 for Espinosa. Jerry McKenzie scores the bout 106 to 104 for the winner by split decision, and still featherweight champion of the world for the WBC, Luisito Espinosa. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, please, for the gallant effort from the young man from Juarez, Mexico, Juan Carlos Ramirez. Let's give him a hand.